see, we'll get some eyes because it'll show at the top of the screen how many people's watching. Hi everyone, I'm Jenna. We're hanging out for a moment just until we're in an event. So we'll just watch for some eyes. So hopefully we'll be able to see comments because I've been using hi. Say hi when you're here. Because I didn't bring my other to see comments. So hopefully we can see the comments. This is Heather, my daughter.
Hello.
We're in an event, so we're just hanging out for a couple of minutes until Gia gets us in. Slow connection, wonderful. So I hope you've had a good day, good weekend. It always, oh, they left. So this is always like an awkward moment. So she should be in any minute. So you're going to have to talk us all through this.
Okay.
So we can pour out paint. So I think I remembered to bring everything.
Yeah, it looks like it.
If not, we'll improvise. So I made an announcement on Telegram and my page that I was going live. And it is 5 o'clock, so Gia should have me in. Hopefully I can see the comments. Hi. Say hi when you're here. We're in an event, so we're just waiting on Gia to put us in. So I can't see comments. Crud. I don't know why Facebook's been doing that lately. Hi Gia, thank you. I am Jenna. This is Apple Dolly Creations. This is my daughter Heather. She's joining us today. We're in an event with Creative Crafters Ensemble. And this is the Not So Spooky event. Now this is all Heather's idea. And so she's going to tell us how to make this. You want to show the one you made?
Yeah.
This is all her creation. So when I saw it, I thought, oh, we have to do this on a video.
So this is the one that I made. Mine's really, really big. I made mine super, super tall. But I found the inspiration on Pinterest. There were a couple of different ideas and I thought I'm going to combine all of those and just see what happens. And so that's kind of what I came up with. So we're going to make mini ones.
Yeah, so you have to have 3 different size embroidery hoops and we're just using the centers.
So we went to Michael's and we priced these out when I made mine. And these embroidery hoops are the cheapest things that I could find to get the center rings. So
we're painting the hoops. We have a wood plaque. This one is 17, 4 by 7. And then she used mini candlesticks. This is part of a spindle that I cut down. So that's, and then we have blackbirds, Spanish moss, green moss, bats that we're painting. So We're gonna paint all this stuff black. So when you hop on, say hi. So right now, Gia is our only person. So Heather used, it was a bat and ghost garland. I couldn't find it, but I found wood bats. So we're gonna paint these up.
Gia says you're not on craft page. She couldn't find you. You need to switch.
Switch what? I'm on my page. I don't know what she means. I need to switch what? Okay. Hi, Deborah. Is that working now, Gia? We're having an issue, Deborah. So do you want me to finish and then come back in? We're in an event. Hi, Marcia. Thank you for sprinkling. Okay, so we're getting some eyes. Now we're crooked because I bumped the camera. Oh, thank you, Deborah. I appreciate it. We're having an issue here. Gia, is everything okay now? Because I just went live on my page and she shares me out. Okay, just continue painting. So, this is my daughter Heather, everybody, and this is her idea. Now you're not on camera. I really messed it up now. Okay.
So all you have to do is paint everything black. Once you get everything painted black, putting all of this stuff together, it goes really, really quick. And then I took some gold paint after mine was done because I wanted to make mine look like it was older, and I just kind of antiqued it around the edges a little bit.
So we have, Heather used a bat garland. I could not find it. I got wood bat, so we're painting that. I have a spindle and a plaque, a wood plaque. So we're painting everything black because when I saw this on that Heather made, I thought we have to do this on a video. And then Gia had this not so spooky event, and I thought that's perfect. We'll do Heather's idea. So we're just painting everything black. So I don't know if Gia got us into the event or not. We're having an issue.
Hi, Marcia.
This is Heather. She's, her and I have crafted since she was a little girl. She used to do craft shows with me, make stuff for craft shows. She worked the store when I had it. So she is no stranger to sitting with me and doing stuff.
I am not the sewer though. That is not my thing.
She's also not a yo-yo maker.
Absolutely not. When I need something sewed, I'm like, hey mom, just sew this for me.
Even though she has a machine.
I do. But why do it when you have a mom who can do it for you, right?
That's what moms are for. So, you got your 3 hoops. You want me to go ahead and start drying this, and then
Yep.
you can go ahead and paint bats, and I'll be your Vanna White.
Yeah, I just have where my fingers were touching isn't painted. So I took a
Hi,
pick.
Jody.
I took a pick and I cut little bats off of it. This came from Michael's. And then she found a bat garland that had wooden bats in it. Anything will really work.
Yeah, you could use, I found one that had spiders on it. You could use that one too. We're having a problem seeing comments, everybody. So those of you just hopping on, this is my daughter, Heather. Hi, Deborah. I'm being my daughter's assistant. She's actually doing this tonight. This is all her idea. She doesn't have a craft page. Her job is way too demanding for her to take on another with kids.
I'm more of a when I'm bored, I craft kind of person. I like to do woodworking stuff.
Yeah, the other Deborah, she does, that's on here, does woodworking. She does salt box houses, is what she's known for. Beautiful ones.
And I never do the same thing twice. I would not be a good person to go to craft shows because I only make one of everything.
Except for this.
Except for when she makes me. Which is why I don't like yo-yos.
Tell them how many I made you make.
Hundreds of yo-yos. I didn't even know what a yo-yo was. And I've never made one since. And some of them had little musical buttons in it. So as I was sewing around the stupid musical button, it was farm sounds.
We made farm animals out of yo-yos.
Just what every 16-year-old wants to do.
Of course. Okay, that one's done.
So I'm very big into Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. So I decorate my inside. I have a huge yard. I decorate the outside. The lady across the street last year stopped me and she was like, it just gets spookier and spookier every year. I said thank you, but I'm not sure that she meant it as a compliment. So every time I get a chance to craft something Halloween, it's always my favorite.
Ow. Don't touch that thing. It's hot.
Oh, Mallory's watching. Hi, Mimi.
Hi, sweetheart. Mallory is her daughter, my grandbaby. Of course, she's not a grandbaby, but she always will be to me. She's not a baby anymore. Hi, Donna. I can barely see names. I will go back, if you have any comments, I will answer afterward, because I can't see the comments.
So the problem that I saw when I started putting this together was that we're going to put little crows in the middle of it, but the crows didn't sit right on just the hoop. So I went and got little wooden blocks and I glued the ravens, the crows, whatever you want to call them, to little wooden blocks. So you're going to need something little and wooden about the size of your raven or crow's feet.
So I cut down, because I couldn't find little wooden blocks, I cut down pasters. There's always a way. Can't find one thing?
These are the little birds that we have. And so you see their little feet, you just need something about the size of their feet to glue them to.
Now the one Heather made, and we showed it at the beginning, but we'll show it again, is really tall. Well, we're making a miniature version of hers.
And you won't see this little wooden block anyway, because we're going to cover it in some moss.
So Mallory, when you come home, you can craft with me too. Mallory's like, oh Lord, no. So the grandpuppy is back here too if you hear noises. She has to be involved in everything because she thinks that she is one of the kids in the house and not the dog.
Yes. And wherever I am, that's where she has to be too.
Okay. So you can go ahead and explain how this is together, and I'll go ahead and finish painting mine.
So once you get everything together, so we have these little spindles, which I didn't paint black, but we have these little spindles. But I got, let me show you what I bought. I got this pack of 5 from Michaels. And it comes with 5 different size little candlesticks. And so that's what I used for my base. And so before we start assembling, let me show you what it is that I made, just for those of you that came in afterwards. This is what we're making. So mine's really tall. And this is a couple of Pinterest ideas that I found, and I was like, oh, I'm going to combine all of those together. And so I set this on my fireplace mantle. And then I went and got a little lantern from the Dollar Tree, and I set it at the base of it. And at night when I light up the lantern, it makes it look really spooky. So all we're going to do is we're going to take the base and we're going to glue it.
What do you need?
A spindle.
Well, wait, I'm painting it.
She's painting my spindle.
Vanna here is not fast.
So putting this together goes really, really fast, and it can get as creepy or spooky as you want it. You can make this grunge. I know a lot of my mom's stuff is grunge, so you can do that with just switching out the accessories that you put in it. So we're just gonna glue our candlestick, whatever you're gonna use as a base. And so we're using Gorilla Glue, and I really like Gorilla Glue because it has extra hold. And as we put this together, it's gonna look a little bit crazy because it's gonna look like you're gonna see all the seams and everything, but we're gonna cover it all up.
What else you need?
The big ring. All right. Then we just take the big ring and we glue that.
Some reason they didn't get me shared. Hi Barb. They didn't get me shared in the event. I'm not sure what's happening. So we're in the Creative Crafters Ensemble group, but for some reason there was a connection issue. And I don't think, hi Garland, that I'm in that she got me shared over.
You want to disconnect and reconnect?
No, because then I'll lose everybody.
Oh. So then you just keep stacking everything. If you're a Harry Potter fan, this looks very much like the hoop that they put the Quidditch in.
And I have no idea what that is.
Like I said, you're not going to see any of this because what we're going to do is we're going to cut pieces of twine and we're going to start covering up these seams. And try not to burn our fingers off.
Well, you're not a true crafter if you have fingerprints.
And this step, depending on what you're going to decorate it with, is probably optional as well. Because, like I said, you're probably not going to see it. The other thing that this does, though, is probably adds a little bit of sturdiness to it.
Oh, I melted one of my birds. I set the heat tool on it. So I couldn't find the feather birds that Heather got. So mine are glittery.
Another thing I thought of when I was making this is, depending on what you do with it, it would make a really cute snowman.
Oh yeah. Put snowman on that?
Instead of painting everything black, if you painted these hoops white and you did this and you used a little scarf, you could put a little hat on the top.
See? She has no choice but to be a crafter. Since birth, she's been crafting.
So when I was little, I would bring home milk containers. I'd make all my friends, after they drank their milk, save me their milk containers, and I would just bring them home because I'd build my own Barbie furniture.
She did. It's in her genes. She can't help it. Oh, I got one more back.
They have all the cool Barbie stuff now, but when I was little, I had to make it. I'd go outside and I'd cut down the tops of little pine trees, and I'd make my own Christmas trees for my Barbies. And so I'm just wrapping these around. It's covering up the glue seams and adding a little bit of strength probably. But you see, I don't have any support brackets on mine, even though mine is much, much bigger. It's a little bit wobbly, mine is, but I shook it really hard just to make sure that it wasn't going to come apart, and it's pretty sturdy. So I didn't add support brackets to mine, but you could, I suppose, if you wanted to.
And as usual, I'm covered in paint. Hi, Kathy. I apologize. We cannot see comments. I forgot to bring my other thing over so I could see what y'all are saying. But I will go back and answer any questions. So this is my daughter, Heather.
So now, because I know it's kind of hard to see it on the camera, but we have our base and we have this is part of a spindle, but I used a candlestick on mine. And then we have 3 hoops that are of different sizes.
They're embroidery hoops, so we're using just the inside.
So all we did was we took the inside out of the embroidery hoops, because to get the circles, when I priced it out in Michael's and I was building this, my son and I walked around and we priced out several different options, and the inside of the embroidery hoops was the cheapest thing. So that's what we did. So I just glued everything together, and then I covered up all of the seams with some jute or some twine, just to give it, to hide the glue, and then to give it a little bit more stability. And so now what we do is these little black squares. So these are our birds, and all you need is something that's about the size of the bird feet, because the bird feet, they're not flat, and I didn't think that they would be stable enough. So I'm going to glue the feet to the little wooden square, and then the square to the embroidery hoop. Or I guess I should say I'm going to glue the square to the embroidery hoop and then the feet to the little square.
I gotta dry these squares. So when I placed my order with Michaels, because they were having a sale, and they gave me a $30 voucher that I was going to use for all this stuff, my Michaels that I always go to didn't have the stuff in stock, but a Michaels 15 minutes away did. So I thought I would just go to that Michaels after work one day and get my order. So I went to pick it up, and they had no clue what I was talking about because it wasn't on their rack, the pickup rack, you know, for online orders. So they started looking around, and they couldn't find it. They had no record of me placing an order for their store. So she said, well, check your normal store that you go to. So I went out in the car and I called my normal store, and she went looking it up and found out that the order was placed for Fayetteville, North Carolina instead of Fayetteville, Georgia. So I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out.
So I glued my little birdie on there, and then you're not going to see his feet because we're going to cover this whole base with some moss. So I really made sure that I secured him, and then I put some glue over top of his feet, just to make sure that he really doesn't come off. And now I'm just going to glue the second base and the second bird on. And so I think it looks cooler if you alternate the way that the birds look, so that they're looking in different directions. That's what I did with my big one.
Oh, I did not paint my hoops.
And see, just the base, it's just glued on there. Like I said, you won't see that twine. And then there's his feet. You can see how much glue I used on his feet just to make sure that he's really attached. And this is all I did, even though I made a bigger version. I didn't do anything differently. This is exactly what I did. And this hot glue has held perfectly fine. This is Gorilla Glue.
Yep, they know that's all I use. Because it gives you a little bit of work time if you make a mistake. And no, we're not sponsored. And it holds really well.
But we wouldn't turn down a sponsorship.
No, we would not.
Well, I should say she wouldn't.
This is not your last video, so. She is the one that came up with the name for the store. I was doing a house, a kitchen in Apples. I had a doll and a bear laying on the kitchen table, waiting on a customer. We were going for about 2 weeks, going back and forth names for the store. And I had Apple wallpaper. And so we were just going back and forth, and she'd come up with something and I'd say no, and I'd come up with something and she would tell me that was stupid. And so we had the Apple wallpaper, we had a doll, and we had a teddy bear. So the name of the store was Apple Dolly Bears. So then when I started doing everything, we changed it to Creations. So she's actually the one that came up with the name. So people have asked me, how'd you come up with that? My daughter.
So we have several options. So you saw mine. I used these little sparkle bats that I cut off of a pick. She bought these little wooden bats that we just painted. I guess he's upside down, huh? And then I got these at the Dollar Tree. They're flowers, but they also have these little spiders on them with these little scary looking moss type things. So you can really use whatever you want to decorate the top. Just know that whatever you put at the top will add weight to it. So I was originally going to put a little lantern in my middle, but when I tried to put it on the top, it made the top really heavy and started to make it bow. So I couldn't do that. That's where the bat idea came in.
So we could do one both ways.
So I'll do the little picks because I don't know what else I would do with these half cut off picks if not this. And then she can do the wooden bats, and you can see how both of them work.
If I get caught up here.
So the last time we did a craft video together, she was completely done, and I was still working on getting myself together. So in a previous life, I went to culinary school. And they teach you this thing that I don't know, I always do it. It's called mise en place, where you do one step at a time and you get everything together and you don't move on to the next step until the first step is done. So I was cutting and painting whatever we were doing, and she was completely done.
Yeah, see, I just go with it.
So you can't really see my top, but this is all I'm doing. I just took the bat. You can't see it unless you get really close, and I just glued him on there, and when the glue cools a little bit, I'll smush the glue in so that you can't really see it anymore. And then I'll go back with a little bit of paint, and I'll just paint any glue that you can see black.
So we're going to be the opposite this time. She's going to be done, and I'm just still painting.
So I said this one goes really, really fast. The hardest part about this craft is really the painting. If you can paint in hot glue, you can do this, because there's nothing else to it. And so I'm just holding this pick in place. And then once it sets a little bit, you can, because mine's wire, I can twist the bat any way that I want. And then I have this one single bat. So all I'm doing right now is I'm twisting, or I'm bending the pick of it so that it's more of a round shape so that I can glue it to the top.
Okay, so I just got my hoops on. So you could add a Santa Claus sitting on the bottom hoop and put bells in the upper ones, or make a little Rudolph and put in one of the hoops. So we're coming up with other ideas than just Halloween.
So I ripped this bat off because I think I need to put it lower. So I'm going to re-glue it. Yeah, this will look much better down here. So this is one of the few times of year that I actually do a bunch of crafting, because Halloween is my favorite holiday, but I don't know who's paying the prices that you see everywhere. I can't imagine how much something like this would actually cost if I bought it in a store. And for it to only sit out for a month. And I was born with I bet I could make that cheaper gene.
I don't know where she got that from.
All right. So
When
now
we would do craft shows, there was no phone, so you couldn't take pictures. So I would say, jot that down. Make a drawing of that, because she draws really well.
And so here's my top. And there's just my bats going all willy-nilly. Looking like they're flying at the top of the hoop. And so now here's where the fun part starts, because what happens next is really like, what do you want to do?
You can do anything. The wire on their feet.
On the feet?
Yeah.
I snipped it off.
Oh.
Right here's I cut it off. So for these connections, I used moss. So originally I had bought just this straw looking moss. What's this stuff really called, Mom? Just moss?
That's Spanish moss.
I had bought Spanish moss. And I thought, well, that looks like, you know, that looks like hay. So I had these from, I don't even know what I had this from. This is like the real looking moss. So I layered it on mine and I thought it looked cool. So I'm going to do it again. And so all you're going to do is you're just going to go and you're going to hide these connections. So everywhere that I have their feet and the base, I'm just going to stick a handful of this little
Oh,
moss.
you tied yours before you put your bird on. What did you do to the bottom one?
Nothing.
Just
Just glued it. Yeah, the bottom one's
so
just
I just pulled it off, so now I gotta glue it again. And I don't know why I didn't bring a second glue gun.
So the only thing you're doing is making it look like he's landed on something. And then this stuff, so this stuff is like 10 bucks a bag, but it's deceiving because there's a ton of this stuff in here. So it's, I don't know, what is this stuff called? It is called natural moss. And so it's fluffy and it just looks like natural moss.
You could probably go out in your yard and get that.
I've had this forever. I don't even know what the intended purpose of this was for. And so I just glued this on.
You're like every other crafter. You have supplies just in case.
Or it could be that I didn't purchase it at all, but that somebody gave it to me.
I don't know who that would be.
Because I really have no idea why I bought this.
I don't know who she's talking about.
And so that's what it looks like.
She probably said, Mom, do you have any moss?
I do have like 12 bags of moss. Most of the moss that I have is actually from my wedding 18 years ago. We made our own little favors, and I still have several bags of it.
We crafted in the middle of winter for months because they moved their wedding up a year and a half.
Well, you know, that's military life for you. So here's where we're at. So we got everything painted black. Here's the base. And then 3 different size embroidery hoops. We just took the centers out of them. We painted everything black. We have little squares, if you can see. We glued everything together. We used twine at the intersections. We have little squares that we glued the bird's feet to, and now we're covering up the bird's feet with the moss, just so it looks a little more spooky.
And the squares I cut from paint stirrers.
I bought my squares.
I wasn't going back out when she told me I needed little squares of wood. I went looking for so I just chopped them up with the chop saw. Because I don't know why, but I had so much anxiety over this video that you think it was my very first one. Okay. So that one's going that way. This one's going to go this way.
I also have this fake green moss stuff too. This comes from the Dollar Tree. I would say for the version that I made, I got everything at Michael's. And you know, they always have the coupons, and this stuff is half off. I'd say it probably cost me 30 bucks.
Well, everything for the sizes that we're making cost me $30. Because I had a $30 voucher.
And I got mine on 50% off sale. And the most expensive part about mine was my crows.
And I couldn't find her crows.
Yeah, I bought the last two when I was there. But I did look on Amazon, and you can get them from Amazon. They're not very expensive. So now I have these flowers that I bought forever ago at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to start snipping them apart because what I want to do is have something to cover. So on mine, this is a floral pick that I have. I got this at Michael's too in the scent and the Halloween decorations, and I just cut it apart and I glued it at all the intersections. And so this is what it looks like from a little further away.
I think she did a fabulous job. I fell in love with it, and I'm not a Halloween person. I don't decorate for Halloween. She decorates for everything, including back to school. She decorates for.
I have a back to school porch right now that I need to take down.
Yep. So what do I need to do now? Moss.
Yes, you need moss to cover your feet. You also need to do your bats at the top. So these are my bats. This was a cheap little pick, a wire pick. It actually had little ghosts on it, if you can still find this at your Michael's.
And mine was wooden garland.
It has the little bats and these little ghosts. I just cut it all apart. I didn't want the little ghosts. I just wanted the bats. You get the floral cutters?
Whoops, my bat's fallen. So I'm going to move mine over so y'all can see. She's further ahead, but I had to be her Vanna.
Yes. It's about time somebody be my assistant. I should have made Halloween yo-yos.
That would never happen. She would tell me, Mom, I bought some fabric. Can you make me yo-yos?
So in these Dollar Tree picks, there are hidden these little, I don't know what you call them. They're like little twiggy things and a little spider. So I'm going to use these at my intersections so that it looks creepy. Just to add a little bit of decoration.
And here's mine with the wooden bats on the top. So mine was they were garlands, and I just took all the smallest ones off.
So,
oh, he fell over. Get up there.
now I'm just taking my little spiders and my little, it's hard to see because everything is black, but I'm just gluing them in there. And
We will
covering up the twine.
We will put them in front of something white and do a good picture. But it's hard to get both of us in this.
Yeah, I am fortunate enough to have 2 kitchens in my house. So we came down to the kitchen where the walls were white. I thought that would be easier to see everything on camera. And so here is my intersection up there. So just really anything will work.
Okay. Hi, Teresa. I barely can see anything written there, even with my glasses on. And you all know I'm blind as a bat.
I knew there was no way I was getting out of here without a burn.
No, you're not a crafter if you don't get burns. If you have fingerprints, you're not a crafter. A job I had to get fingerprinted from the FBI. And I said, I don't think I have fingerprints because I'm a crafter. I burn my fingers all the time with glue gun. Well, the guy doing my fingerprints didn't think that was funny at all. Doesn't see my sense of humor. Oh, I need the green. Oh, there it is. Hi, Donna. This is my daughter, Heather. This is her idea. And we're in an event with Creative Crafters Ensemble. And it's the Not So Spooky event. And I look like a preschooler playing in black paint.
All right, so here's my middle section with just those picks that I cut apart. It's from a floral stem at the Dollar Tree. And I have one little spider left, so I'm just going to pull him off. I'm just going to...
Okay, now what else do I need to do here? I got the moss done. I got the bats on the top.
Oh. Now you just need to decorate it.
With?
I have these.
I need the wire. Okay, that'll work too. Oh, these have eyeballs in the inside of them.
And so there it is. Mine is done. Now, see if you can see everything. I could decorate around the base. Either use a bow or some of the flowers, some bats. Like I said, really this is the fun part because once it's assembled, you get to decorate it however you want.
So where do I put these? Wherever?
Yeah, wherever. I just covered up my twine here at all of my junctions.
Okay. And I'm cutting these.
I also thought about feeding like some fairy lights through mine because that wouldn't add any weight to mine, but it would make it light up.
Oh, I could have brought some. I just got a whole bunch of them.
Oh, thank you, Donna.
Yeah, Donna just came back from a cruise.
Jealous. The only thing I cruise is the Walmart aisle. My daughter Mallory, she goes on cruises all the time. She just got back from one too.
How at their age do they do more than we do?
Because they don't have houses and light bills. Mortgage payments. I always tell my kids when they were little that you aren't an adult until you pay to wipe your own butt.
And these ones, some of them have eyeballs.
Yeah, some do, some do not.
So Mallory's sitting there watching going, oh my Lord, Mom just said that on video. So I'm taking some of the black leaves and I'm taking the plastic stuff off of them.
Here, let's put you in since you're the... Tilt it a little bit so that you're more in focus now. So there's hers.
Mine's just a bit different because we're using up supplies. So I'm taking 2 of the leaves. I took all the plastic stuff and I'm gonna glue them together. Charlotte says, I am done with this crafting stuff. Let me out of this room. Okay, so we have to fill up an hour. So I did bring a second project along. Get all the, if you put Vaseline on the tip of your glue tool, you don't have strings, and I forgot to bring some. So
Interesting.
yes, I don't know what it does, but it gets rid of strings. So here is mine. So I added the purple flowers and the wooden bats on the top of mine. So we're going to set this aside. And I'm going to wipe this glue off my fingers. And I'm going to come close so you all can see what I'm doing, because we're making a fabric spider. Oh, this ain't coming off. I go to work tomorrow with black paint all over me. You can stick it in the water. Okay, so we are making a fabric. How much time we have?
11 minutes.
Oh, well, we can sort of get the idea. So the other night on my page, I just grabbed some fabric. I forgot to bring chenille stems, but I showed how to make one of these little tiny spiders out of Heather's ultimate favorite thing, yo-yos.
How did I know we were going to get yo-yos at some point?
So I have two circles, one's larger than the other, and we're making yo-yos. Heather's ultimate favorite thing in the world to make.
She lies. It is not.
I actually didn't think about her hating yo-yos so much when I decided I needed something just to fill in for an hour, because you got to fill in the whole hour. So I'm just knotting a piece of embroidery floss, and we're going to do a running stitch all the way around. Let's see if I can get this done in 11 minutes. So there's nothing difficult about this. We're just doing a running stitch all the way around the outside of each circle.
And be careful you don't poke your fingers. Ask me how I know.
She was such an abused child. So I'm only using one strand of embroidery floss. So once we get all the way back to where we started, take some fiberfill and stuff it. And stuff it as firm as you can get it. And pull it, after you get it stuffed, pull it really, really tight. You want to close up that bottom. Hold your embroidery floss between your two fingers. Sometimes I wrap it around so that it doesn't come loose, because it will. And then you just want to stitch this bottom closed. Just go from one side to the other and close up that bottom totally. Okay, so we're just going to knot this off, and we're going to do the other one the very same way.
8 minutes.
So here's our larger one. We're making a bigger spider than we made the other night on my page, because I was just showing everybody. I was taking a bunch of different items that I had made from last year, and I put them all together, and Frankenstein was one of them, and he needed a spider. So I hurried up and made a little tiny spider to go on him. So you actually can make these any size. You can make big ones, tiny ones. So if we do not get this finished before our time is up, our next presenter is Gia. She is the host. Thank you, Gia, for having me. And her page is Gia's Creations. And if you're not following her, please go follow her. And also, this is a free page. Please join this page, because there are so many people that sometimes I wonder how we all come up with the ideas. So pull it really tight. And this one, for time's sake, I'm just going to knot it. But they're better if you sew them closed. So we'll stick that fiberfill down in there. There we go. Okay, so we have two circles, one larger than the other. So I'm going to thread this needle again. And what we're going to do is put these side by side and sew them together. And that's going to be the body of the spider.
You still have 6 minutes. You're good.
Okay. So all I'm doing is holding the two together. I'm going to stitch them. Just a few stitches, just enough that these two stay together. Now, can you glue this? Probably. I never have.
I would glue mine because I don't like to sew, but I wouldn't make this because I'm never making a yo-yo again in my life.
Yes, she will. She'll sit down one day and say, I'm going to make yo-yos because I miss Mom. So I have, this is Crafter's Square glitter glue. And this is what I use for eyes. And I just make a big dollop like that. And then I go back in with black puffy paint. And just make a little dollop of black puffy paint right in the middle. So when that dries, that glitter glue gives them like a creepy look. Now, I forgot to bring the chenille stems. You cut chenille stems however long you want your legs, and you twist them in the center together. And then you pull your legs, your chenille out. And I use my finger as reference, and I go down and just make a foot. And I do that with all the legs on both sides. And then I glue it on. And you have a spider.
That's cute.
So, that's a big spider. And then what I do is I just take something and wrap around their neck. Just a scarf. So I'm going to sit this down and paint because I got paint everywhere. But those of them that follow me, they know how I am with paint. One time,
which is funny because painting is my thing.
She's a great drawer. One day I just hit the live button and I had this black paint sitting here and dumped it all over the carpet. And during my video, Tony was cleaning it up for me. God bless him. But there's a spider. So you also can turn this into a bumblebee, or depending on your fabric, you can use, make a ladybug. The same way, any bug, any flying bug.
Or a bat.
Yeah, that'd be a perfect bat. So, thank you, Gia, for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me to bring my daughter on. This is her totally idea. Let's bring it over here. So we made two different ones. Mine has purple flowers. And hers has this tree branch thing. And I will post a picture of her original one and then post a picture of both of ours. So God bless all of you. Have a great evening. Can you hit the finish button in the lower right-hand corner? It says slow connection.